eventually you get absorbed in, and you are Sonic.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to No Repeat. It's a podcast where we pick 3 songs every week with no repeats and no do-overs to create a perfect playlist for every occasion life throws at you. I'm Taylor Olmstead, and I'm joined by my co-host, Tyler Reed.
All right, folks, I'm going to have to come clean this episode. I've never roller skated before in my life.
And Sean Evans.
I won the dice game once. Just saying. That's where I actually discovered my lucky number, was winning the dice game. It's 5.
You know, historically not a well-regarded as a lucky number, but okay.
Well, it's not yours, that's why. So, good.
But it does avoid the 789 joke, so that's good.
Yeah.
It's true. Tyler, what was our challenge this week?
This week, we're trying to find the perfect song for feeling nostalgic about the roller rink, submitted by Flawless. And if you want to submit your own challenge, you can DM us at us at NoRepeatPod on Instagram and Twitter, or you can always send us an email, norepeatpod@gmail.com. Thanks so much.
We talked about this on our Patreon exclusive podcast, Billy Joe Armstrong's Middle School Notebook, but where Sean, Tyler, and I grew up, there was a roller rink that was exceedingly popular because there was not a lot for young people to do in our town. We didn't get laser tag until probably 2006, maybe?
Sounds about right.
So for most of our elementary school and middle school lives, the only school activity, if you were going to like do something with a class or like you had a birthday party, was Chuck E. Cheese or the roller rink. And once you get past a certain age, you can't do Chuck E. Cheese anymore.
Family Fun Center, baby. Come on, you kidding me? No, that was that.
Well, yes, there was Family Fun Center, which was like the slightly grown-up version of Chuck E. Cheese, but then it flooded and disappeared.
Right.
It was the only time I ever beat a stand-up arcade game was the X-Men cabinet at Family Fun Center as a kid.
Incredible.
But anyway, so the roller rink. For those of you who haven't been, I would say the average roller rink experience is like 75% four-wheel roller skating, not inline rollerblades, roller skates. 25% arcade games, 25% bad concession food. Does that ring true to you, Sean?
I don't know if you could say, is there good concession food?
On the sliding scale of concession food, I feel like the worst you're going to get is at a roller rink.
I don't know, man. I've been to the Batavia YMCA.
Ooh, good point. Good point. I would honestly, though, like...
Very inside baseball conversation right now.
In general, I would probably rank bowling alley food above roller rink food.
Yeah.
Because on occasion, a bowling alley will have like a grill and do like short order like hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff.
There's probably an adult working that as well, where almost assuredly the roller rink is a teenager.
This I feel like that, I don't know, we'll have to go on the website and figure out if Beachmont Roller Arena still has an active menu, but they did have like the staples. They had pizzas and hot dogs and
yes,
other things like that.
And so typically they play like a mixture of high school dance songs, wedding songs, and like a strange hybrid of like top 40 and club music that is for roller skating. And we should say that this is very much the white suburban kind of roller skating. This is not the black roller skating culture that is typically more focused on adults and plays more disco and soul and has like choreography and stuff like that. We did not go to that kind of roller rink. This was like elementary and middle school students trying their best to make it around the circle without falling over while listening to Cotton Eye Joe. At least that's my experience. Sean, what do you remember about the roller arena?
Nothing about what you said is wrong, and I have no other commentary to add.
I think the key thing with music in the roller arena is like absolutely no slow songs. There was never a slow song at the roller arena. Maybe there was like a mid-tempo something for like couples skate, but there has to be like a forward motion.
No, I don't know. I feel like there was always some slow songs at the roller rink. Yeah, you went. Yeah, I feel Like there was. Not a lot, but
I only ever went in like elementary school, so
yeah, me too, but
the playlist may have been different when the ages were younger.
I mean, it wasn't like sexy songs, but yeah,
absolutely not. Songs with zero sex appeal are ideal because nobody looks sexy on roller skates.
I don't know. I don't think you've seen me in my my cutoffs.
I feel like, that being said, hasn't sort of like roller skating like been like become like a TikTok trend?
It has.
And that's like kind of sexy, right? I feel like that's...
But I think that's more descended from this other kind of roller skating world that's much more like choreography based, music based. It's not like what we were doing.
No, totally. I felt like when I moved to college and I was talking about going roller skating, it was like, oh yeah, we went when we were kids. Like adults don't do that. And that was like really confusing to a lot of people. They were like, no, that's an adult thing. And I was like, no, that's a kid's thing.
Different eras.
Yeah. But I do remember there was like, I put it together probably 4 or 5 years ago that, because I had just never seen it before, that you remember in the roller arena when they had the circles on the ground, right? That like back in the day for ice skating, when like what figure skating was actually skating those figures, like doing routines on those little things. And I never knew that. I just thought they were just like little holding pins for children or something to skate around, but not actually like what you would do as a technical skill on roller skates or ice skates. And now that I know that, I'm interested in it. Well, now I know. I guess it's interesting. I didn't know that before. I was just like, oh, there's just, this huge bowling alley where there's no pins anywhere.
Yeah, for us, it was just kind of like an expanse of like waxed floor, but there was definitely like other stuff you could do with that space. And Sean mentioned the dice game. There were all sorts of like little games that were played throughout the evening at the roller arena. And there were like, I feel like there was tag and like a couple of different like variants on such things. There was one where you like made a giant line.
Oh yeah, I remember this one now.
And like went around in circles.
Crack the whip.
Yes, crack the whip. Like that's what it was called.
Whip. Yeah, dice game.
Is this sort of like the pool where like when you're little, you're like, well, I need an activity to like make this activity I'm doing more exciting. But like when you're an adult, you're like, I just want to go around the circle.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
exactly what it's like.
There was like a musical chairs version kind of for a while. That was kind of like the dice game, but it was like just so the music turns off and the last person to get to the thing.
Oh, you had to get to the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, they got to the wall, then they were out, and they would just call people. It seemed very arbitrary, but you're a kid, so you don't know.
And there was like Simon Says and stuff like that. So we say all of this to say like the music and the environment of the roller arena when we were growing up, and ours was a roller arena. It is also sometimes called a roller rink, I should say. Same concept. It was very gimmicky. Like, it was the kind of DJ that would do like a bar mitzvah. This is not like a club DJ. They may have had
mixing tracks.
Yeah, they're not mixing tracks. They're like playing them end to end, and if they're lucky, maybe they sound decent together.
Yeah, for sure. Was there? I don't know. I feel like maybe you just saying this, so you might know. Was it the same DJ? I thought it was like the same person all the time.
I'm sure it probably was, or there was like very few of them.
Yeah.
I think it's a little generous to call them a DJ when they're probably just a guy named Greg. Sorry, Greg. You did what you had to do. You didn't get paid enough.
Just to be clear, I don't want to crap on Beachmont Roller Arena that much because...
You do want them to sponsor us.
Well, we talked about this on Billy Joe Armstrong, and I pitched the idea. I want to hear it from listener feedback. Episode 300... Maybe even like episode 360 because it's full circle. We'll just have to decide what we want to do. We want to rent out the Beachmont Roll Arena and have a private party there for all of our fans who live in Cincinnati or want to come to Cincinnati and skate.
You want to fly out here.
We're going to rent it out. It's free for you for listening to the show. You can show up and skate.
Sean made this executive decision on our behalf, and if there's enough interest, I will definitely do it. But listeners, you got to sound off and let us know if you actually want this to happen.
I feel like I know at least one DJ that I would trust to do this. Her rates at this point, she's just like opened for like Journey, so IDK if she has like the bandwidth to do a novelty roller rink set, but I think that would be sick.
We just hand them our playlist and say, make something of this.
Right. Do something with this, right?
Oh,
that's what I mean. By that time, we'll have almost 1,000 song playlist. We'll be able to make something out of there, and
we can make 2 hours of roller skating happen.
Right. Part of me thinks there should at least be 25 minutes of the crazy bullshit Tyler Reed neo jazz.
It's Tyler's chill jazz skate while everybody else goes and eats.
That's when the lights come down.
You're gonna feel sexy,
Tyler's
but refined.
Sexy jazz skate. Tyler's gonna be the only person out in the rink, and everybody has to stand around the outside. And if he pulls you, you got to come out and skate with him. Right. It's like a bride's choice at a wedding.
Listen, I'll be in my wedding suit, which is my floral shirt and bright blue blazer and pant combo. Everyone will be wooed by my charm.
Let's just develop this whole thing over the next, 150 episodes where we just decide that we're gonna do like full tuxedos with like duck-tailed coats and stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's interesting that we have landed on this as like the thing that we're going to do, because it's something about like, we don't have the clout to do like a festival, and I feel like we want something that's like actionable. And so like what's like actionable with like music? You could just dance.
We're really setting our bar real low. It's like we're essentially throwing a children's birthday party.
But I think it's fun if we commit to the bit fully, and like we just basically just kick everyone out of whoever like works at the Beachmont Roller Arena, just to like get out. We don't need Greg. Greg, you do great work. You're a hero. We'll take care of the DJ tonight. We got you.
So really, like what my goal was in doing this was to just kind of like guerrilla market our way into getting everything covered.
Okay.
Just like find somebody who listens to the show who's good enough at DJing and just mention Beachmont Roll Arena in a positive light enough times that they start to hear about us organically. Like, I don't want to reach out to them. I just want them to come to approach us around the 300 or 360th episode and just say like, I've been thinking about it for the past couple of days, and I'm coming up with ways to semi-organically plug Beachmont Roll Arena on every episode until this happens. Which reminds me, I'm not sure.
Do they have any socials? They're on Instagram?
But this brings up a good point. If you're looking for a great time and you live in the Cincinnati area, let me tell you about an establishment that will show you an all-day family fun time. Beachmont Roll Arena, 3988 Commercial Boulevard, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45245. You come on down, they are going to show you a blast. And I encourage you to go visit Beachmont Roll Arena, where we will be having the No Repeat 300/360 episode celebration spectacular called Music on Wheels, where Tyler Reed will wear a flamingo costume.
Asterisk.
On skates. I'm going to get one of those T-Rex costumes and wear it on skates. It's gonna be a wild night.
All right,
listen,
let's get into some songs because I
it.
can't do this anymore.
We've spent 15 minutes on this.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, ahead. You are.
All right. This week I chose No Scrubs by TLC. So those of you who aren't familiar with what a scrub is, I invite you to go to TDR Design or Rude Pets Club. There's a gentleman on there who is definitely a scrub.
All right.
There might be a character who's a scrub, but it's mostly the designer. Just a Are you really heard about this now?
All right.
Okay, Tyler's not a scrub.
I mean, you can say whatever you want. This is America. This is a platform. You've been given.
So, when I was entertaining time at the roller rink, this was one of the songs that was really popular that I remember. When did this song come out?
This would have been 1999.
Okay, I feel like during this time I might have had like the coolest Jinko pipe jeans.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
With the
definitely.
chain.
ball on it with a dragon, and
Yeah, and I probably had like an orange long sleeve T-shirt that had like a lizard on it or something, because I was clearly the epitome of sex appeal. And I remember this was like the first time that I committed this song to memory, and I thought it was super catchy. This would have been like, what, 4th or 5th grade for me? So not a time that I look back on and embarrassed about any of my fashion choices at all. I want to thank my parents for giving in to me and taking me to McAlpin's, where they bought me a pair of Jinko pipe jeans. I'm sure they're on eBay right now, if you want to look up Jinko pipe jeans. But pretty simple song choice here. That's my feeling nostalgic, I guess. More like remembering, not really feeling nostalgic, but for the world.
Oh man, I mean, this is one of the all-time greats. One of the best pop songs of the era. Like, it's just so iconic. From that opening, like, I guess it's a keyboard. Maybe it's mimicking like a mellotron or a dulcimer. Like, it's hard to tell. It's just like you immediately know it's No Scrubs. And like, then everybody knows, no, I don't want no scrub. A scrub is this guy that can't get no time from me. Like, you know it. You know it. And I think it really crossed over in a way that became like a generational touchstone. I don't know if young kids now know No Scrubs. I hope they do.
I hope they do too.
probably don't.
I mean, it's one of our great like millennial pop songs, and I say millennial in terms of like really like 1998 to 2002, where it felt like pop music was like pushing forward into the future in this kind of weird like genre bending way that I feel like we just are having again now. You know, your Christinas, your Britneys, your like some of your Backstreet Boys, your even like early Neo, early Akon. Like there was some really cool R&B pop fusion stuff happening at this time, and No Scrubs is one of the best songs of that. Just so cool, so smooth. And yeah, you could roller skate all night to this. Like, it has a beat, but it's got like a real kind of flow to it that like if somebody knows what they're doing, they can make it look effortless. Just like the gals in No Scrub, or the gals in TLC did. I mean, just wow. Love it. So glad it's finally on the playlist.
Sean, do you authentically like this song?
Yes.
Okay.
How could you not?
Whoa. Sean has been on the record as saying sometimes he chooses songs for the challenge rather than...
Yeah, totally.
But how could anyone dislike No Scrubs?
Oh. I mean, sometimes Sean's a pophead, sometimes he's not, you know? So I feel like...
Thanks for seeing me, Tyler. I'm
It's
sorry
okay.
for making fun of you at the beginning.
No,
You're
it's
not
okay.
a scrub.
No,
Tyler's
it's all
not a
good.
scrub. If you're
I-
looking for a good man,
Oh, no.
and you live in the local Cincinnati area,
I mean,
come on down.
he's employed. He's got a car.
right,
He pays rent.
right.
He's not a scrub.
He's got a door that has a lock on it. That's a big thing, and he controls the lock. And that's what I mean. There are probably plenty of men out there that have a lock on their door that don't control the lock.
Several things. The bar is so low. Anyway.
You know how to do laundry?
Yeah.
There we go. You cook your own food?
Yes?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Look, ladies, or anybody, really, come on down to Tylertown. He's got the whole package.
Anyway, so the reason why when Taylor said, do people know who TLC are? Do they know what these bands are? I said no, because there's a TikTok going around where they were trying to explain the "it's gonna be May" joke to a student, and they were like, "That's weird." So they really, it's really like, man, oh man, we are grandpas. We are dinosaurs.
Gosh. Shut the hell up.
There's just no way, absolutely no way that these kids these days know what this is. Anyway, that being said, I do think if they listen to it, they will probably enjoy it, because I do think the sort of like boy band, girl band format's coming back through, like K-pop and all that, and I feel like it's having a real resurgence, and so I feel like this is a great opportunity to bring the 90s back even more. It's an Ouroboros, baby. We're coming back. So I feel like the song is obviously a classic. It's an icon. And I feel like this just makes you want to actually like go back and like listen to TLC, because I don't think I've literally ever listened to a full album before. Have either of you?
I haven't. I know a handful of singles, but I've never listened to a full record.
So, I mean, I feel like I probably owe it to myself if we're gonna claim this culture, this sort of like, this is our childhood, I feel like I should go back. I should really give this album a listen, because I feel like they're iconic for a reason, right? I don't know. I mean, I like almost all the parts of it. I mean, the vocal harmonies are great. It's got a good beat, and I think there's a lot of cool sort of like, you kind of forget about the like little like the Spanish influence we had in the 90s too, like the
Spanish guitar,
yeah. For some reason, that was just always kind of snuck in for a lot of things. Also great. Since I have no roller skating experience, I can't give my perspective on whether this is a good pick for the challenge, but I mean, I think it's smooth. I think it's got a good flow, and I feel like I could see myself falling on my ass and hurting myself and crying a little bit.
I feel like, what song that was kind of in the realm is this that was played at the Roll Arena a lot? Wasn't Me.
Wasn't Me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Famously on this podcast already.
Kind of fit that in there. Yeah. So I want to do Taylor's song next, because I was putting some stuff together and I want to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to go next as well, because we're in the same time period.
Okay.
This week I chose Days Go By Dirty Vegas.
Days go by and still I think of you. Days when I couldn't live my life without you. Without you.
So Days Go By is the most popular single by British electronic group Dirty Vegas. It came out in 2001, so just a couple years after Sean's song. And it's a very like pop house track that really just kind of relies on texture to achieve its goals. Like, there's not a lot happening. There aren't a lot of changes in the way that house music typically has changes. But it has this really breathy, like, vaguely vocoded, talk boxed or whatever vocal with that iconic line, "Days go by and still I think about you." And just that, like, drums and the synth bass. I mean, it just, like, it feels like what, as a young child, I thought party music was. And I think that's why it played so much on radio and in roller rinks and bowling alleys and places like that. Because it's definitely a club track, right? Like, late 90s, early 2000s club kids would have been raving to this with, like, light up pacifiers in their mouths while they were on MDMA. But at the same time, we as 9, 10, 11-year-olds could hear this song at the roller rink and go absolutely wild and, like, attempt to skate to it. And, you know, it's a little too fast and you fall over, but you feel so cool because this song just, it felt cool and adult and clubby, even though we definitely didn't know what clubby was or meant at the time. Like, it felt cool. And, you know, this is, like, right after The Matrix came out. Like, it's in that same kind of vein, like, that aesthetic of, like, neo-futurism, like, I don't know. I have such fond memories of this song from this time, and probably like every 6 months I come back to it and I'm like, man, this song is just so cool.
So did you actually listen to this at a roller rink?
I'm sure I did.
Okay.
I have like
you're not,
sense
like-
memories of it. I could be like conflating it with other songs from that era and like thinking I heard it at the roller rink, but I know that it played a lot at the time when I was also going to the roller rink a lot.
This feels more like, to me, in my mind's eye, more like a laser tag.
But we didn't have laser tag yet. It hadn't come to our town yet.
You're right, it was a few, Skywag Tag came there eventually, but...
Listeners, we had one laser tag place on the entire east side of Cincinnati. It was called Scallywag Tag. Yes, that's right. Pirate-themed laser tag. Why? Who knows?
And they played Seven Nation Army
A lot.
every time.
A lot of Seven Nation Army.
So like that very like electronic sound like really reminds me of like a laser tag. And I feel like the movements are so, like, I mean, you're right, it's kind of like understated for like a house track, you know, and there's not a lot of huge like shifts, but it I feel like this is like an Adult Swim like sort of like song where it's like this is not fun time with the kids that are like laughing and screaming or whatever. This is like, you know, like some more like competitive skate, some more like, all right, we're gonna work out our focus, you know, we're gonna be doing some laps. That being said, I mean, so I have no idea if this actually fits. I think I mean, I would like to roller skate to this song, but it doesn't, through the playlist I've looked up, it doesn't seem necessarily to fit that, but I have no idea. But as a song, I feel like, I mean, this is obviously right up my alley because it's got electronic vocals. It's an electronic song. It's house, baby. I'm into it. Do they have other? Is this like?
I know nothing else about them except this track.
You're like this single song. Okay, might be good. We'll find out. I'll report back next month.
I feel like I was out of the scope of the roller rink when this song came out in 2002 because I would have been in 7th or 8th grade. Probably.
Too cool.
No, they just like stopped having stuff. I feel like schools, it was like once you were in middle school, that was when skating nights kind of tapered out a little bit. The PTO stopped sponsoring them. At Clough, Roll Arena was a big thing, so you would always, elementary schools, they loved that stuff. Fundraiser nights and market day, those are the two things. That was Deep Elementary School right there, if you remember market day. I thought when I heard this, I was like, oh, this feels like I saw this in a car commercial. Like I knew I heard this in a car commercial. And that's originally, correct. I thought it was the Volkswagen commercial with Tony Hale. And the reason I thought about that was because I was rewatching Arrested Development a few months ago. And I was like looking up with Sarah what Tony Hale had done in the past in terms of acting and saw that he had done this very famous, if you don't know who Tony Hale is, he's Buster on Arrested Development. He's the assistant to the vice president on Veep. I'm trying to think of like other real notable roles that he's...
Those are probably his two biggest.
Okay. So, yeah, but he was in this Volkswagen commercial, and the song, so you see him in there, and it's Mr. Roboto, or is it Mr. Roboto? Is that the name of the song?
Yeah, it's Mr. Roboto by Styx.
Okay.
But you can't hear it.
Right, until he opens up the door. And one of the things that he said that they did two like versions of this, and the other song was actually Dancing Queen, but they couldn't get the rights to it or something. Yeah. So, but I felt like maybe Days Go By might have been the one, because when you see him in the car and you can't hear the music, he's doing like sort of the robot motions. But I remember if you watch the Mitsubishi a lot commercial where they advertise it and Days Go By is the song, she's kind of doing the same dance. Like it's a little bit of a hearkening back to that commercial. But yeah, no, this was definitely a thing. And I feel like right around this time there was this big influence of dance club music that was coming out. Like,
yeah, I think the like paranoia around raving and like party drugs was starting to fade, and dance music was becoming like acceptable pop music for a second.
Right. Because there was like...
Because the late 90s had a real paranoia around like party drugs and raving.
Right. Yeah, everybody's like, you're going to go to rave? Like, what the hell? But then there was like harder versions that came out, like Kasabian's song came out after this. Oh man, I forget if there's like any other kind of like digital.
I mean, this is also when we did our Madonna episode, we talked about like this is when dance pop Madonna happens, like right in this era.
Oh yeah, there was probably some Madonna that got played at the roller rink when I was there too.
Oh, for
It
sure.
was on the
could it
top
not?
50. If you could turn on Casey Kasem and that song was on Casey Kasem, it was probably played at the roller rink. They had the CD. So, yeah. Interesting song, though. I don't... Do you think it stands up today?
I do. I think it's catchy and simple in a way that, like, you know, some dance music doesn't age because it's too of its time. This is simple enough that I think it resists that problem.
Did you mean to capitalize on the days go by? Like, did you mean to play on that for nostalgia for the roller rink, or is it just like...
I didn't, but it is a nostalgic song. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just wasn't sure. That was... like you, in the song there is the thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, good choice.
All right, well, Tyler, that just leaves you. What do you have for us?
Let's get to the champion here.
All right, this week I chose "Rock with You" by Michael Jackson.
You gotta feel that heat, and we can ride the boogie. Share that beat of love. I wanna rock with you all night. Dance you into the sunlight. I wanna rock with you all night. Gonna rock the night away. Out on the floor.
Is this our first MJ? I don't remember.
No, there's no way this is our first MJ.
I think it might be.
I think it might be. It would be a crime if it is.
Oh my god, it is.
It is.
As
All
in,
right. Here he
Episode
is. All right, we got to talk
182.
about the King of Pop, I guess. No, we don't. Listen, this is not this episode. We're not going to do that. But you know him. You love him. You are a little suspicious of the several court cases and trials. We don't got to talk about it. So, I was looking around on different like sort of like playlists and different sort of like listicles of like just roller rink traditions or popular songs, and of course MJ was going to be on all these because I feel like the roller rink craze was probably happening right around his come up, you know, and so I feel like they're probably synonymous, and kind of like how Sean was saying is like anything I was basically playing top 40 was probably going to be also at the roller rink, but you know, there was something seductive about Rock With You that really sort of captivated me and made me want to choose it for this particular challenge. And I think the review from Rolling Stone said, "What's remarkable about Rock With You is how unobtrusive it is. A silky string section and barely there twitch of guitar. Michael doesn't even hit the word rock all that hard. He just glides over it, preferring to charm with a wink and a smile rather than with aggression or ferocity." And I feel like that's such a good description of this song, and kind of like the vibe I imagined in my head of the roller rink, where it's like, it's kind of about the flow state. You're just kind of continuously moving and just trying to kind of move your body with the music. And I feel like you want something that's sort of like swooping and general, so that I feel like you can get a lot of big movements rather than lots of small, tiny movements. And I feel like, yeah, this isn't necessarily his like number one or even like it's probably within the top 25 of his best songs, but I think it does a good. I think it's smooth, it's silky, and I think it just feels nice to glide along to a roller rink too. I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, you can't talk about the roller rink without talking about roller disco, and this is roller disco anthem 101. I mean, smooth, kind of repetitive, but not too repetitive. Michael's vocals here, like you said, surprisingly understated, especially compared to some of his later work. You don't get a lot of woos and hee-hees on this. He's just kind of gliding along the track. Re-listening to this week, I am like very clearly reminded of the last few Childish Gambino projects. Like, there is a direct line between those things. Like, you can hear Donald Glover being influenced by this song in particular. And I think it's a great testament to just like why Michael Jackson was the king of pop. Like, this song is damn near perfect. his performance is just so spot on, and then the production, like Quincy Jones, always great. I think, like you said, it's great for the movement. It's got that kind of swishing that you can do if you know what you're doing on roller skates. Got those little horn flourishes where you can maybe do some hand motions, do a little disco dancing. It's fun. I would have a lot of fun to this song at a roller rink, and I can't skate very well at all. I would love to watch somebody who really knows what they're doing just like rock out to this.
How do I say this?
Uh-oh.
Like, Tyler clearly won this episode by picking this.
Hands
by a
down.
long shot. Like, Babe Ruth went up to the plate and pointed out to the outfield and then hit a line drive home run. But I feel like there needs to be an asterisk on this one because he's never been roller skating.
Yeah, for somebody who's never been, he really like captured the vibe immediately.
But I feel like it's kind of, I don't know.
Is it too easy picking a Michael? What couldn't you pick a Michael for?
No. No. I think you did an excellent job. This isn't like saying that you did. I just wish that you had a story where you like, I skated this one and I met the love of my life and then she moved away but I was like 7, or like I wish that you had like a funny roller arena story to go with it, but it's just like, it's a great song and it is a great song,
Do you want me to make up a story? Do you want me to?
Okay. Oh, here. Now let's just no. Yeah, I was gonna say, can you like do a short fiction about you at the Royal Arena and this song coming on, just so we can have a little context here.
Let me think. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Do we do it with parents? Do parents do a...
No, they usually sit and watch or they drop you off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, mine usually drop me off.
I'll just say separately. I distinctly do have memories of watching television with my mother and dancing on the couch and listening to Michael Jackson, and so I could just imagine that. I feel like I could imagine very easily. I'm sure if I asked her nicely, she would go with me.
Speaking of parallel universe versions, I just read on the Wikipedia page that the song was first offered to Karen Carpenter, but she turned it down. Wild. Would have been a very different world.
Mm-hmm.
Did Michael Jackson have a lot of camp songs? Like camp as in like written by like producers and stuff?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Especially, yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure how much he was involved in the actual writing of his music.
Yeah, he was never like a songwriter first, for sure.
Okay. So this week, since we had such a short amount of time in between picking the challenge and doing the challenge, which would have been really interesting because I'm sure there's like a ton of people that listen to this that have memories.
This would have been a good episode for that.
Yeah. Was in the last song, and when we were talking about Tyler's pick, Michael Jackson's Rock With You, I asked if it was a camp song. There's a really interesting podcast to listen to. It changed a lot of the ways that I thought about how music was produced.
I found it.
Okay.
It's an episode of Planet Money called How Much Does It Cost to Make a Hit Song?
Yeah, very good. I think they talk about Beyonce and how she and her staff kind of come up with her hits. And so they fly in producers and do these camps, and they come and they work through all these songs. And I'm not saying anything that you're like a bad artist or something if you don't write your songs. I just thought it was really interesting how on the background, how these like number one hits are made. It's really interesting. There's lots of people that have made a ton of money doing this. And for me personally, it doesn't take away from anything. I just think it's a good listen because once you hear this episode and then you kind of hear how it's done, you get how there's like this smoothness that happens. I think it actually elevates the artistry of Michael Jackson doing this thing where Tyler was saying there's like no punch in this whole episode or in this whole song. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll also similarly plug the episode of Las Culturistas that came out earlier this month featuring Nashville-based songwriter Maren Morris, who is doing solo work right now, but has written for huge pop names. And they talk briefly on there about a song she wrote for Kelly Clarkson and talk about like the process of like writing this song and having it shopped around, and then Kelly expressing interest in it and like how it works from the songwriter's perspective. Like the business side of this is interesting if you care about pop music, because it like demonstrates how songwriting is truly work, and everybody's process for it is like different, but at the end of the day, like there's still labor involved.
All right, so with that, there are B-sides that we have. Everybody wants to hear them. You got them. Let's see where we can go.
I really went on a early 2000s greatest hits here. So I had Promiscuous by Nelly Furtado featuring Timbaland, Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison, On the Floor by Jennifer Lopez featuring Pitbull, and I really, really struggled with whether this was going to be my pick or not. The Sign by Ace of Base.
I have two, and actually one of them is slow. The first one, which is not slow, is Delight, Groove is in the Heart.
It's already on the playlist. Can't pick it.
Well, it's not for this, but but it was listened to at the Roll Rink a lot. And the other one was Kissed by a Rose by Seal.
Still not on this playlist.
Listeners, Sean Evans loves Kiss from a Rose by Seal more than anyone I know. Someday we will just have to spend a very long time talking about Kiss from a Rose, if for no other reason to mention that it was originally composed for a Batman film.
All the best songs are.
And somehow it just changed my life.
You probably haven't even seen the movie, have you?
Which one is it? Which Batman is it?
Like Returns, probably. It's the one with the
Forever.
Forever.
Who's the
Mr.
villain
Freeze?
in it?
No,
With Arnold Schwarzenegger?
no, it's not that one.
I don't know.
Batman Forever is Two-Face and the Riddler. Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey.
Yes, I have seen it. Not like recently, but yes. I did not know that was written for a Batman movie.
Sure was.
Oh.
This week,
Guess I've been kissed by a rose.
December 1963. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night.
Great track. Great track.
Upside Down by Diana Ross.
Wow, sexy.
Let's Groove. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Surprising we don't have an Earth, Wind, and Fire on here yet. We'll get there. Never Too Much by Luther Vandross. And Move On Up by Curtis Mayfield. Gotta get that Kanye sample, right?
Well, Tyler, if people want to take you out for couple skate, where can they do that?
Hey everybody, you can find my design and illustration work at rudepets.club. And as always, you can find me on socials as Rude Pets Club on Instagram and Twitter.
If people want pointers on how to win the dice game, where can they get them from you?
Find me on Instagram, tell Sean.
If you want to learn how to do the Cotton Eye Joe from me, you can find me on the socials at TC Olmstead. All of these songs will be on the official No Repeat podcast playlist. If you feel the need to roller skate and you live in the greater Cincinnati area, you can go to the Beachmont Roller Arena. And other than that, we will be back next week with another episode of No Repeat.